As we continue to move through the winter months, one thing you might hear mentioned is a term called the polar vortex. So what exactly is the polar vortex? Does that mean it just gets cold and that's the polar vortex? Well, no, that's not the case at all. The polar vortex is always present in the polar area, in this case, the North Pole. And that polar vortex is a large area of spinning cold air around the North Pole. Now, when the jet stream is strong and we have a big pressure difference between that polar vortex and areas to the south, the polar vortex is strong and the polar vortex is stable. And that means the cold air remains locked to the north in the polar regions and across Canada. However, when the polar vortex gets unstable and the jet stream weakens, a piece of it can actually break off and move south over the continental United States. And that is when we get our major Arctic outbreaks. So a weaker polar vortex means more cold heading south into the United States. A stronger polar vortex keeps all of that cold air locked up near the North Pole and into Canada. So when you hear that term polar vortex this winter, just remember it's always present. But when that jet stream weakens, when the polar vortex gets unstable, that is when we could see the Arctic air moving south.